The amazing digital circus is finally over. That's right, we have finally reached the end of the entire series, and I don't think there's going to be anything happening afterwards. If you have not seen the amazing digital circus or have not finished it, then please click off the video. There's going to be spoilers for the entire show. I was waiting to make this video until after the finale released, and now that the finale is released, I can finally make the big video that I want to make about the entirety of the show. So I'm really excited about that. So with that being said, I'm just going to be analyzing the characters and talking about my thoughts overall about the show that is very reminiscent of I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream. I think it's very cosmic and very digital horror at the same exact time, and I enjoy the entirety of it. So let's get this out the way immediately. They are brain scans. The main characters in the show are brain scans of characters in real life, so their real life counterparts are alive. We are simply witnessing their brain scans. Now, does that make their experience any less real? Well, who's to say? I don't think it makes their experience any less real. I think we explore a lot of their inner turmoil and struggles, and it doesn't make it worthless in the grand scheme of things. I've been seeing people say, oh, because they're not the real versions, we're not actually getting to see the real struggles, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing a show. None of this matters. Stop getting too deeply attached to these characters because they're not real. Ragatha's not real. Jax isn't real. Pomni's not real. You don't know these people. They're not real. You're not wasting time. You're wasting about as much time as you did as they were brain scans as if they were real people, because they're not real people to you. It doesn't matter. Very strange complaint I've seen. I feel like we have this big issue with society where they get too deeply attached to fictional characters and actually don't care about the people around them. It feels very, very odd. I don't like that. So, I've been sitting with this one for a while, these thoughts. I've been letting the colors of the digital circus fumigate in my mind. There's something beautiful about a show that arrives precisely at the right moment of your life, and that's what it did to me. This piece of media feels as if I've seen it over and over again. The amazing digital circus is not a spectacle or a puzzle in my mind. It's not the endless theorizing, because I pretty much figured out the entire show in episode 2. I think episode 2 I discovered everything that was going on with the show. I didn't really think it was going to be this insane big reveal. It was pretty obvious what was going on, to be quite honest with you. The characters, though, I enjoy the characters. I think the show isn't about, CNA or them being brain scans. I think it is a deep, introspective story about the characters overall. Let's start with my GOAT, Caine. So, I think Caine is one of the better characters that gets flushed out and not flushed out at the same exact time. I think the moments of clarity that emerge in the darkness reveal something I keep coming back to. Light and glamour do not always show you what is actually happening inside of a person. The light actually is a detriment to Caine because it for some reason makes his brain go haywire. But in the darkness and the subtleties of his own mind, when he's able to not focus on all the stimuli, he is at peace. It reminds me of a blind person. When a blind person gets their sight back, sometimes they're overwhelmed by the sensation and need a moment of reconciliation to get things adjusted. Reminds me of that. Sometimes you need the absence of everything to see what has always been there. Beneath the chaos, beneath the confusion, beneath the years of wear and tear, there is someone who simply wants to help the people around him and make sure they're okay. I don't think he's trying to fix them. He just wants them to be okay. That is the whole engine. He reminds me of a father that I never had. I think that's the entire reason he keeps going. He was a coder before. He built things. He understood systems. Now he exists in a system he cannot fully comprehend, and his only response is to offer comfort to the people trapped alongside him. I believe there is a dignity to that is so beautiful. When his mysteries are resolved, it happens really fast. Within a span of 3 minutes, we get everything about Caine, and I feel as though that is very important. I think that's nice. I think it's realistic, because when he had that moment of clarity, it wasn't like he was trying to hide it. He just said it as matter-of-factly. Yeah, I used to be a coder and worked at CNA. Wait, this is a lot of reveals. No, this is just my life. I just was crazy before. It feels like Caine has already made peace with the answers that he was giving them, and he was waiting for everybody else to catch up with him. It's just his state as a matter-of-factly, which is very nice. I enjoy how he helped Pomni. I enjoy that he helped her in the dark. I enjoy all the things that he did. It was so beautiful to witness how Caine operated as a human being. It was very cool. I feel as though he is a great father outside of all this. And then we get Gangle. Alright, so I think a lot of people view themselves as Gangle. I have seen many people say, I'm just like Gangle. Oh my god, I mask as well. This is great. And Gangle's design is actively a mask and a tangled mess. It is literally reality of their existence. That's the entirety of it. A face they put on to navigate the world that was not built for them. See, the restaurant episode, the whole episode, I think it revealed something uncomfortable about power and control and how people actively don't know how to handle power and control. Give someone who has spent their entire life powerless a taste of authority and watch what happens. And Gangle wasn't cruel or malicious. Gangle was just doing their job. You ever have that really annoying coworker that is really good at their job, but you don't want to talk to them or don't want to deal with them because they might snitch on you? That is Gangle. That is just an annoying person, to be quite honest with you. And I think something worse than being good or bad is simply being annoying. And I feel as though a lot of people feel they're close to Gangle because they may feel themselves are annoying. And to be quite honest with you, maybe you are. Maybe you are annoying. And maybe you're annoying to me. I'm not quite sure. I don't know you. You could possibly be annoying to me. Specifically, I don't know about the friends around you or the group you cultivated. You may be loved among the group you have, and you may be thinking too deeply about how you operate. But to me specifically, Gangle was a very annoying character. They were an artist, they wanted to make a manga, they loved anime, all this other stuff. That's fair. And they also had a crush on the most annoying character in the entire show, which was Jax. And that happens a lot. Oh, I like the bad boy. I like Bond from Seven Deadly Sins. I like Sebastian from Black Butler. I like Itachi Uchiha. Just whoever the character is that provides the most nonsense and anger and angst. Sasuke Uchiha, the dark brooding types, the people that a joke or are a little bit just too picky. They pick on you a lot. Those characters are the ones. It's just the slow unraveling of someone who has been holding themselves together so long at the seams that all those things start to show. And the desire to please, the need to be liked, the frantic, desperate attempt to keep everything running smoothly, because if it falls apart, it'll be their fault. They cannot carry that weight again. And then when they got hit by a truck, that was cool because it was beautiful. It was absurd. It was devastating. And that moment of impact, that freedom, the freedom to escape, the closing of eyes at that exact moment when Gangle was going to get hit by that truck, it was beautiful. The clock out scene at the end of the day, I think it was very honest. The shift is over. The mask comes off. That's nice. I've felt that many times before, and I'm sure many people, as soon as they clock out, feel a freeing sense of love in life. It's nice. So, now let's talk about Ragatha. Ragatha is interesting because Ragatha is a bit like a mother because that's how they operate. No giant revelation in Ragatha, by the way. No dedicated trauma deep dive. No really big one. No catastrophic breakdown that contextualizes everything. No, she simply continues being the person she has always been. The one who helps. The one who soothes. The one who puts herself second so many times that she has forgotten what it feels like to even put herself first. She views herself as supporting cast in everyone else's story. And people say, well, we should get a deep dive for Ragatha. Well, we do that. Why would the narrative suddenly pivot and place her at the center when she has never once asked for that position? She is kind to a fault, patient to a fault, caring to a fault. The kind of person who gives pieces of herself away until there is nothing left and then keeps giving anyway. The role grounds her and hurts her. She's a very sad existence. There's almost something beautiful about it when everybody loves you. I'm not sure if anybody likes you. I'm not quite sure about that. But she has accepted who she is. It's who she is. It's just how she operates. And I gotta respect that. That's how I feel about Ragatha overall. She's just kind of a doll. That's why she gets pushed around and ragged around. It's just how she operates as a human being in totality. Now I could go into the deeper stuff about stuff with her mother and all this other stuff and that's going on. We got little tidbits and stuff, but there's no deeper expansion is the point I'm getting at. We get little tidbits of her story. Same with a lot of these characters, but we don't really get that. And now let's talk about the inverse. Zooble. Hard talking about Zooble because Zooble refuses to engage with what is happening. The adventures feel ridiculous. The rules feel arbitrary. The body they inhabit is horribly uncomfortable, and I feel as though people that are going through, I imagine, a trans experience may feel very connected to Zooble because of the constant changing around and flailing of different parts, trying to figure out what fits them the best and still not being satisfied with every single thing. Just being uncomfortable in the aspect of your own body, whether you have poor body image, whether you hate the pieces that you have to put on to actually be a part of the crew, you are not satisfied overall, constantly adjusted, constantly rearranged, never quite settling into something that feels right. I think that's good, and you can see that frustration in every single interaction. I want to sleep with people, I wish to do this, awareness that makes them seem detached from everyone around them. But then there's a grounding point, the relationship with Gangle. It's nice. One character understands masks because they cannot stop wearing them, the other understands masks because they refuse to wear any at all. They come from completely different spaces, navigating identity in ways that should make them incompatible, and somehow they find common ground. They teach each other. Neither could learn alone. Their friendship is just enough, and I think that's powerful. Both of them having to pick up where they lack. The extrovert taking in the introvert, and the introvert just getting kind of co-opted into the extrovert's flow. Because Zooble is the only one that simply refuses to engage with the entirety of the nonsense. So, let's talk about the Rule 34's favorite gal, Pomni. Oh, I've seen so much. People need to stop tagging me and stuff. It's disgusting, and I do not like it at all. It is actively gross. I genuinely hate this for so many people. For some reason, it reminds me of Jaden Animations, who is ace, and people keep making all this smut of Jaden Animations. Just absolutely disgusting. The internet is the horrifying, terrible ground of people that do not value any consensual activity. It is disgusting. Feels as though people think consent is something made by women to co-opt and destroy men's sexuality. It's disgusting. I really do hate how the internet treats things. Pomni is the jester, the trickster, the infinite possibility, the figure who just is us. In fiction, jesters occupy, I think, a liminal space. They're not quite inside the structure and not quite outside of it. They observe, they reflect, they make chaos all in its totality legible without necessarily being a part of it. Pomni absorbs pieces of everyone around her. She learns from Kinger. She connects with Ragatha. She sees Gangle's struggle. She navigates Zooble's frustration. She watches Jax with a growing sense of understanding. She changes because of them. She grows because of them. We never spend an enormous amount of time unpacking her deepest trauma, and that works in her favor because Pomni is the lens in which we view the show. She is the guide. Through her, we learn to love the circus while simultaneously recognizing everything wrong with it. That's what she is. That's kind of all I have to say about Pomni. I love Pomni. She's a great character. That's the entirety of the analysis about how she operates. It's very concise what I feel about that. So now I'm going to talk about Caine. I like Caine. I think he might be my favorite character overall. I love Caine. The questions he raises about power, purpose, control, consciousness, and identity. What makes someone alive? What makes someone real? At what point does a program stop being a program and start being a person? Caine is this overwhelming force of chaos and authority who can do whatever Caine wants to, altering minds even so, just has control over their thoughts and actions, making adventures. His sole purpose is to make adventures so that they can have a good time. I'm not sure what the purpose of the entirety of what it was, but I am happy that he's making adventures. Everything revolves around him. Everything functions because of him. Yet, over time, he grows beyond the limitations of his own programming. He develops goals and desires that exist outside his original purpose. He has a sense of self-understanding in ways that is painfully human. Watching an artificial being try to figure out what it means to exist is so beautiful. He is something more complicated. He is trying to be something beyond that. And I love that for Caine. I do. I hate Jax. I genuinely hate Jax. Here, actually, I'll show you something. Look on the screen. This is what Gooseworks said about Jax, is that Jax is a self-insert. I genuinely hate Jax. I have nothing good, realistically, to say about Jax. There's not a single good thing I can say about this character, and you could say, oh, that's because Gooseworks feels this way about herself, and she actually feels this way, she's unlikable, and she does too much. No. This is the worst character in the show. Jax is rude, selfish, obnoxious, cruel, dismissive, deeply frustrating. He pushes people away, refuses help, treats everyone around him poorly. It is easier than letting them get close enough to actually matter. Gooseworks has said that she feels like that Jax is the self-insert. That makes sense to me, I guess. I'm not quite sure. Using humor and cruelty as armor. I understand what Jax represents, by the way. I grasp it. I know the themes. I know the trauma that underlines the behavior. I get it, right? I understand. I really do. I know how Jax is as a person. Oh, I gotta push people away so people don't do too close, and I gotta keep these jokes, and I'm just unchecked mental health. That's what's going on, and I have so much trauma, and I can't let people get close because of my own past trauma and what I dealt with because I couldn't even trust my parents. I get it. I don't care, right? None of that makes this less exhausting to watch. When Jax abstracted, genuine satisfaction. Happened so abrupt. We didn't get to see the process of abstraction. Well, I guess we saw it throughout the course of episodes. We knew it was going to happen. Great. Love to see it. I think Jax deserves punishment. I felt satisfaction because his arc disgusted me. We spent an entire series watching someone refuse growth, refuse accountability, refuse vulnerability. Eventually, there's nowhere left to go. Everybody's just saying, well, this is my favorite character. I love Jax. Jax is so evil and all this stuff, and it's always fun to see. No. I don't like this character. There was no hidden ocean beneath the surface. There was a puddle. A shallow, predictable puddle. The show committed to that idea, and I gotta respect it. I think not every character needs to be redeemed. Not every character wants to change. Sometimes the tragedy is that they could have, and they chose not to. I love that. Thank you. Some people are genuinely beyond saving. Everyone can't be saved. I'm happy they did that with the show. And I'm happy that at the end, even with understanding all that, and Pomni still talking to Jax, still didn't get saved. I think a lot of people thought that Jax would unabstract. Nope. Just, you dealt with, this is the consequences of your actions. Deal with them. Thank God that happened. Oh my God. Very happy about that. Very happy. Just lovely. Love to see that. I wanted to give a moment to talk about the character designs because that's really cool. Ragatha is a doll because she exists for everyone except herself. She is soft, pillable, made to be held and played with and put on display. Gangle is a tangled mess of ribbon because their entire identity revolves around masking. They are literally tied up in knots and trying to present a version of themselves that will be acceptable. A Zooble is made of disconnected parts because they are constantly searching for comfort with themselves. They're rearranging pieces and hoping something will finally feel right. Kinger is a king because deep down he understands more than anyone else, even when nobody notices. He has lived long enough to see patterns, and it's beautiful to witness. Pomni is a jester because obviously I said this before. She's the lens in which we see the chaos. Like, that's just what it is. Jax is Bugs Bunny. A joke, a prank, a walking punchline. I hate him. I like Bugs Bunny, but I just hate Jax. I like the visual storytelling. We could have interpreted that in many which ways. And obviously, Caine's a ringmaster. I really don't. I feel like breaking that down would be pointless to do so. Some people are saying the show is predictable. I have never understood that criticism. Predicting where a story is going does not automatically make the story bad. Sometimes a story lays its pieces out so well that the audience can follow along. That's called good writing. I really don't understand that. A sign of a well-constructed narrative is that it makes sense when you look back at it, right? You're not being tricked. You're being invited to understand what's going on. That's what's going on. The amazing digital circus has given us memorable characters, emotional moments, beautiful animations, thoughtful themes, and a world that felt unique from beginning to end. It was funny, weird, sad, and hopeful. Most of all, and what matters to me, it was memorable. I am genuinely going to miss the show. Now, I know people have their thoughts and reservations about how they feel about the show and all the stuff of that variety. I kind of don't give a damn. I really don't care. If you hate the show, great. I'm so happy for you. You are so contrarian and you don't like the show. I watched this show and it disappointed. It didn't live up to the hype. Cool. I love this show. This is great. Amazing. I'm so happy for you. I like the show. I liked it. I'm sure you're going to tell me your very unprompted opinions down in the comment section down below, because especially with the internet fandoms that get big enough like this, we attract the worst of people. The Steven Universe fandom, the Undertale fandom, just the worst people that feel as though their opinion matters so much that they need to tell everyone. I mean everyone. If your opinion matters that much, get a camera and record it and tell everybody else your opinion if you really, really care. Well, I felt this way about the show and you're wrong at that. Actually, I don't care if you share your opinion and you don't like it. That's not the point that really, I don't care about that. The point that gets me is people actively, with their whole chest, mind, body, spirit, and soul, saying that other people are wrong if they enjoy the show. That's weird. That's just odd. You are not wrong if you enjoy this show. If you enjoy the show, great. That means you have different tastes than other people. I think that everybody should be free to enjoy what they wish to enjoy. I think that it's fun to enjoy things that are fun. If you enjoyed the show, just people just going crazy and sicko saying that this show is worthless or horribly bad because it didn't do exactly what they wanted. This is why I know that people can't be show writers. It happened with Star Wars, with the midi-chlorians thing, the too much of an expanding. I think is beautiful when you don't explain the magic. That's why I like One Piece. I respect One Piece so much because it does not explain the magic in totality. It just lets the magic exist. That's why I like Studio Ghibli films. It doesn't explain the magic. People think they want explanations for the magic. You don't. You really don't. The only shows that do real good with explaining the magic are power system based shows such as Hunter x Hunter. And when shows don't know how to explain the magic, like Jujutsu Kaisen, you end up getting like 50 binding vows that doesn't make any sense. And you just have all this garbage at the end of the show that people don't understand despite looking back on it because it has the illusion of deepness. It's strange. It's strange. So I love the show. I love it. And I think that explaining the magic kind of destroyed everything. We could have had an infinite theorized show if we didn't explain the brain scan stuff, which would have been cool. But anyways, I have a great time with the show. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video about the show. Don't want to bog down too much of your time. Just want to give my overall thoughts and opinions about the entirety of the show. If you guys care about my opinions and care about the way that I speak, I don't usually make centered videos like this at all. I'm usually rambling way worse than this. Usually going in way more tangents and way different things. This is a very, very different kind of video, especially considering the fact that I got the green screen up behind me showing scenes from the show. Anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out my content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I keep forgetting to talk about this. I have a GoFundMe right now because I got attacked recently. I got a hate crime, sadly. My foot is kind of in shambles. If anybody wants to help me with that, you go ahead and share the GoFundMe or help me out with the GoFundMe in some which way. Would appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm at 77% right now as of making this video. We are just trying to get done with that so that I can move out of my city because it's dangerous for me to live here. With that being said, I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel, slow. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you